morning, good morning, good morning. So it's great to be back in my Health Angel community and see all these familiar faces and some new ones as well. So today we're going to talk about five most common energy blocks, as Nicole just mentioned, and how to heal them. So before I begin, I just wanted to, since some of you might be new, to introduce myself. So I'm Diana Willard, and I am a Reiki practitioner and teacher and work with a lot of different energy healing modalities. So this topic that we're going to talk about today is all about healing energy blocks that we might be carrying within our physical body or anywhere in our aura. Okay. So we'll get into that in a little bit. We all have certain aspects of our life that flow very effortlessly. Like we don't have to work too hard to have certain things work out, right? And then there'll be certain aspects of our life where we feel stuck. Okay, like I just don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't want to step out of my comfort zone. Why doesn't this part ever work out for me? Blah blah blah. That type of thing. Those times when you just feel like stuck. Okay, oftentimes that's because of an energy block. An energy block can be like an emotion or a past trauma that is in your subconscious or something that you just don't want to look at. It could be an emotion based on a trauma that you just don't want to look at. You're not ready to, and it's buried. Okay. So there's a lot of ways that our energy can get blocked. Now, having said that, as a Reiki practitioner, I'll tell you, and some of you have heard this before, that the Reiki is a energy healing modality where the practitioner channels life force energy or ki or chi. There's different variety of names for it, through themselves from source coming down and going into the client. Okay. And doing this with the intention of the client being happy, healthy, whole, complete. So everything, it's like a flow of unconditional love just flowing through me into, okay? And it is a modality or a healing technique that is used now, well, it's worldwide. Fortunately, it has gotten into Western medicine too. So it's used as like an integrative therapy at some of our top hospitals, namely Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, John Hopkins, St. Jude's. So it's out there, okay? And they use it as a way of bringing yourself into a place of relaxation, getting you into parasympathetic nervous system, which is out of fight or flight and being nice and calm so that your body can heal naturally. Okay. So it speeds the healing process. So when I had open heart surgery 10 years ago this year, January actually, at Cleveland Clinic, when I came out of the anesthesia, there was a guy with a white jacket with Reiki Master, and he came in every day and he balanced my chakras, my meridians, made sure I didn't have any energy blocks. So all my chi was flowing effortlessly. It resulted in me not having the emotional distress that many people experience after having surgery, where how did it go? What's going on? I've got all these big staples down my chest. I'll be ugly the rest of my life. Those types of emotions, I didn't have any of them. Okay. I also got out of the hospital a week early. So that was my experience with Reiki before I, it was about 2 years after that before I actually started taking classes in Reiki. And that came I attribute a lot of that as a result of my son, Willie, who, my oldest son, he crossed over 10 years ago today. So this is interesting, very synchronistic that we're talking about energy and Reiki today. And when he crossed over, and I honor you and I honor everyone here today that has lost anybody or had to say goodbye to them in the physical, knowing that they're with us all the time. I just wanted to so what happened after he crossed over, I really had this desire to stay in touch with him, very strong desire. And so I started engaging with mediums and working with crystals and filming Spirit Orb. And one day, it was about a year and a half after Willie crossed over, I was just driving around after doing some volunteer work, and I ended up on this road in Boca Raton that was like a half a street, and it was at a dead end. And I was like, spirit, why am I here? Why am I here, guides, angels? Why am I here? And I looked over and there was a crystal shop. Well, within the crystal shop, they were doing Reiki circles. Okay. And I walked in and experienced Reiki and never looked back, started taking classes and went all the way through all the certifications to become Reiki master. So that it actually really changed my life. It changed my attitude. It helped me become more connected to myself and to all aspects, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Everything opened up as a result of Reiki. So for energy blocks in particular, Reiki is a great option for you. You can join Reiki on meetup groups, Facebook groups. I've seen Facebook groups sharing Reiki sessions. They can be online. They can be in person. You can go to some of these wellness centers offer Reiki as well. And then, of course, if you're in a hospital that offers Reiki, you can use that as an integrative service that will be uh, charged through your insurance most often. Okay. So that's one way to work with energy blocks in the body is to have that beautiful energy coming through you all the time, balancing your chakras and meridians and keeping you in love. Okay, so that's the goal here. All right, so I'm just going to pop through. We're going to talk for a moment about a couple of the symptoms of what an energy block might look like. One would be what I mentioned before, where you just feel stuck, where it's like, I really want to write that book, but I can't sit myself down to do it. Okay, like stuck, that kind of stuff. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. That's one of them. Another one would be depression. That's a symptom of having some energy block in the system. Okay. And another one would be negative behavior patterns. So that's, for instance, if you have, what do you call it, some emotions that you can't really quite control, like anger is a little bit out of control, frustration, that type of thing. You have some of those heavy emotions, then that could indicate that you might have an emotional block or an energy block. Procrastination or freeze, the freeze response around a certain issue. Okay, so that's procrastinating, writing that book or getting on to that. Okay, increased consumption of alcohol, drugs, or unhealthy food. That's another potential indicator that you might have an energy block. Okay. Now, the good news is, aside from Reiki, you can do a lot of this movement of the energy yourself. And so we're going to talk about some of the ways that you can do that as we talk about the most common energy blocks. Okay. So, another thing that I want to say before we get into that is, in order to do this type of work where you're releasing energy blocks and looking at emotions that might be attached to those energy blocks, you have to be willing to look at them, okay? And be ready to heal, okay? And with that, you want to clean up the diet a little bit, get better sleep, get some exercise, give yourself a really huge dose of passion because it's a process. It's not just something that's just gonna boop overnight, right? It's a process. But the ultimate goal here is when we release energy blocks, we feel better, we feel lighter, we feel more self-love, more respect to ourselves, more worthiness, and we just feel lighter, okay? And physically less pain. Okay, so some people that have chronic pain all the time, when you're releasing those energy blocks, you're going to notice that there's less pain because you're releasing it. Okay. Energy blocks are can be anywhere within the body or the energy field, as I mentioned before. But we're going to focus a lot on the body today, the physical body, and how it feels. Okay. All right. So let's move right on. One thing I do want to note though, if you have suffered severe trauma, it is always a good idea, and I highly recommend that bringing a therapist or a counselor or a support group on board with you to work through some of those emotions, and then you work on releasing the emotional blocks that are associated with them. Okay, so I just wanted to note that. Okay, the therapy, it helps us process trauma, a lot of the trauma that we've had, and bring maybe even the core emotion that triggers the constant replay of the trauma. Okay, or not even constant, but the replay occasionally of the trauma. Okay, so we're gonna support ourselves by dieting and not diet, eating properly or well, eating good foods, and exercise and sleep and hydrating and journaling, and again, huge doses of compassion for yourself. Okay, so here we go. One of the first, this is the first and most common energy block, which is suppressing emotions and trauma. Okay, so we talked about that a little bit before. And as I mentioned, it's not easy to face these traumas, but if you are ready, then let's give it a go. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is get you in this place where you can identify what the emotion may be and how you can release it out of your physical body. Okay, so if everybody can just get comfortable in the seat that you're in, get relaxed, okay, and settle in. And breath is always going to be your ally no matter what, okay? And you probably all noticed this throughout your life that when you stop and take a breath, things start to kind of ease up a little bit, and that tension starts to relax. So we're going to do a little bit of breath work. And before we do, if you could all take a mental note on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is I'm feeling so great. I'm really grateful to be here and learning these exercises. But right now I'm feeling awesome. Or a 10 meaning I should be in the hospital. So somewhere in the center or the one end or the other end is where you should be feeling right now. And you want to just gauge that. Okay. It's always good to gauge before you start doing any exercises, and then do a recheck afterwards so that you can kind of even let your ego and your subconscious know, hey, this is working and I'm going to do it again. Okay. All right. So let's all sit back. You can close your eyes, nice and comfortable. And we're just going to take a nice slow breath into your abdomen. So you want to breathe in and just send that breath down into your belly and allow your belly to expand a little bit. You can also send that breath to your lungs too. And we're just going to hold it for a couple seconds. I'm just going to get nice and grounded. And we're going to release it through our mouth very slowly, like you're going through a small straw. Okay. Now we're going to take another breath into the abdomen. We're going to do this breath to the count of 4. So we're going to slowly 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to hold it now to the count of 4 if you can. 2, 3, 4. And then now we're going to release it to the count of 6. We always want to release longer than we enter. Okay? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Now we want to picture, visualize, imagine roots coming out of your bottom and out of your feet, or if you're laying down, out of your entire body, going down into Mother Earth. So picture beautiful white roots coming out of your body, down into Mama Earth. Okay. This will always help you get grounded, and that's going to help you have more clear thoughts and be able to work with your emotions. Okay. So let's take another nice slow breath in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And then slowly release to 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you have any discomfort in your body at this moment, ask yourself what emotion is attached to that, and just pick one. If you have more than one area in your body that's not feeling so good, just pick one. And what's the emotion that comes up instantly without even thinking about it? What is it? Is it anger? Is it grief, frustration? What is it? Okay. Sadness, depression, whatever comes up for you. All right. And then that's the one that we're going to work with today. So wherever you feel it, if you feel it in your heart space, in your throat, in your back, in your feet, wherever, if you're not feeling any discomfort at all, just continue the breathing, and then you can take these instructions with you, and we'll make sure that they get in the email too, so that you don't have to write anything down. Okay. All right. So the location of the pain is generally a good indicator that there is an energy block there as well. Okay, so you're having pain and an energy block. Sometimes we don't have pain and we still have an energy block somewhere. Okay, so if you are feeling any particular emotion right now, then you can add that and join in this piece. Okay. So now we've created a word that best describes the emotion, the abandonment, intimidation, sadness, shame, guilt, whatever. Okay. And we want to come back to our body for a moment, and we want to give ourselves about 30 seconds to feel it. Okay. Feel it, feel, and even ask yourself, where is this sadness coming from? And whatever thought comes to your mind, let's work with that. So go to that particular instance, or to that person, or that place, or if it's a thing that is creating that emotion at this time. Okay. You can even place your hands on that area of the body, because we're the whole time that we're doing any exercises and releasing energy blocks, or any type of energy movement, we want to give ourselves love and compassion. So you can place your hand on that area, okay, and just give it some love. All right, loving. Like I said, if there's several places, you can put your hands on those as well. So as we go back to the emotion that we are working with now, let's take a nice breath in to the abdomen. Okay, and then we're going to say, I feel blank. Okay, so I feel sadness, I feel grief, I feel abandonment, whatever comes to mind. Okay, and then you're going to ask yourself, am I ready to release this emotion? Okay, am I ready to release this emotion? Now, if you get a no, it's okay. Okay, you can have your hand on that area, just give it love, and allow yourself to release any of the discomfort as we go on throughout the exercise. You don't have to put any more energy into it. If you get a no, no, I'm really not ready to release the anger or the guilt. I'm not ready. Okay. It's okay. Everything is on time, and it's not imperative that you rush into anything. Okay. It's just not the day. If you do get a yes though, okay, then the game is on. Okay. And if we can move forward with that. So then we want to breathe in, take a nice breath in. I now release this feeling of being sad, guilty, whatever, guilt. Okay. And you want to breathe it, and you want to allow that energy to start traveling down your body, down your legs, and down into the earth. I am releasing it now. I am ready to release this energy. Okay. And you can, if your hand happens to be on it, you can actually use your hand as a guide to guide it down and move it right out of your body. Breathe it out down your leg, down into the feet beneath you. So you're visualizing the pain draining out of your body through your feet into the earth. And again, if you don't have any physical pain, but you have an emotion that you know is in your energy field somewhere, allow that to go. And if you're ready to let it go down into the earth. Okay. Let's take another nice slow breath in and continue. I now release this feeling of being blank. Let it go. I'm ready to let it go. Okay. And you're breathing the whole time, breathing into the abdomen. Now we meditate, letting this pain go right down my leg, down into the earth. The reason we send it into the earth is because Mother Earth transmutes all energy into love. Okay, transmutes it. So anything you send down there that you could characterize as negative or not your highest good is going to be transmuted into love. So we always send anything that we don't want into the earth. Okay. Now, some find it helpful to dance or move the physical body around too, to shake it up a little bit, shake up that energy block so you can do some movement if you feel inclined to. You can also do some tapping, just tap on the area itself if you want to help loosen up that energy block. Okay, and keep breathing. Okay, breathing and allowing it to go. I am releasing this now. No longer serves me, and I'm ready to let it go. Okay, so that is a beautiful technique for allowing yourself to get some relief from any chronic pain, or to release an emotion that's somewhere in your system, somewhere in your subconscious, somewhere in your thoughts in that any given moment. You practice this. Okay, so let it out as it comes out. And what I like to do, let's take another breath in. I feel like some are still working on this. So let's take another breath in and then slowly release it down, down, down. Now, whenever we're releasing an energy block or any type of energy, we want to replace that area. So let's say you're feeling better now in this particular area where you're doing some. Okay. You want to replace that area, that open gate gap from where that energy was taken down into the earth, and you want to send it some love. So you can place your hand on it and visualize, imagine, or see your hand, beautiful rays of light coming right out of your hand, right into that area. Okay, going right in and filling that space from whence the energy block came out, and filling it with love. Okay, and you can even visualize or imagine through your hand that the light is coming and that it's going now into all the areas of your body. So it's spreading out and filling up your whole body with light. And you're breathing. In the breath. Filling your entire body. And if you wish, you can feel yourself like an egg, like you're in a big ball of light. And that egg is all around you, and you can fill that up with light too. I'm purified, cleansed, I've released that block, and I'm feeling fine. Okay. Now let's take another nice slow breath in and reflect and celebrate what we've just done. Okay. And you can do this anytime, anywhere. And sometimes you can go as long as you need to go, or sometimes it'll be very quick that this releases. Okay. So congratulations on that. And that is the way to release trauma and emotions that are in an objective life. Okay. All right, so let's just take another breath and move around a little bit. Again, dancing and movement, tapping. I also rattle. If you have a rattle, or you can get a bag of beans and put them in a toilet paper roll. I don't know if you remember. I remember my kids did it as children, so I probably did. But you put the uncooked beans in the little toilet paper roll, tape off the ends of it, and you have yourself a rattle. Okay, and using a rattle with the intention of releasing any energy blocks throughout your body is an amazing, amazing technique to use. And you just send it down, sending it down into the earth. Okay? So I highly recommend a rattle. And if you need somebody that this rattle was made by a gentleman in Washington State, and he is an amazing craftsman. So if any of you are interested in acquiring a rattle, he puts a lot of love and divinity into all of his work. And so you can hit me up. I think my email is included in the little follow up after each session. So you're more than welcome to hit me up, and I can give you his name. So we've reflected now. All right. Next one is the next. Let's see. Number 2 is denying your own true self. Oh, how many of us have done? Okay. So throughout our lives, how many times have we said, I got to go to my job, then we get married, then we have family, then we have children, and the whole time you have no idea who you are. Okay. I experienced that myself because life gets very busy. Okay. So it's very, very common that, especially during the years where we're, like between the 20s and the 50s, when we're like really cranking and supporting and creating and raising family. Okay. It can happen, most likely happens to everyone at some point or another. Okay. So denying your true self, how does that happen? As I just explained. How can that create an energy block? Well, because you're not in touch with yourself. So you've got emotions that have been suppressed. You've got maybe even physical issues that you've blown off because you have to do this instead. And you feel like you have to put everybody else first. Okay. The people pleaser part of you. And so we have to remind ourselves that that isn't good for us. Okay. And there's a few questions that you can ask yourself. And these we will make sure are also in. Oh, hmm, thank you. That was beautiful. So there's a couple questions that we can ask ourselves to see like where where we are, who we are. Okay. And that will help the energy start to flow, because the more we step into who we are, the more our body starts to trust us. The more we start to trust our body, the more we have better communication within ourself. Okay. So we can ask ourselves the following questions, and we'll make sure that this list gets in the email as well. So, one, what matters to you? So, what matters to you? Many people may say, my family, my pets, money, my job, da 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 da. What matters to you most? Living a healthy lifestyle. So, that's a good question. Anything that is most important to you. This helps you really understand yourself, okay? And how many of us have asked, what matters to you recently? I know, right? I'm not. Okay. Next one is, what do you love to do when no one's watching? Okay. So if no one's around to criticize or judge you, okay, what would you do? And I think that's a very valid question, and one that it's a deep question. What would you do with your time if nobody was watching? What would you do? So these are some powerful questions. Another one is, if money was abundant, what would you spend your time doing? Okay, so if you had no issues with finances, what would you be doing? And these questions will sometimes bring you even, like, you'll realize if you go very deep with it and really think about the answers to these questions, you may realize that you're closer to some of your dreams than you thought you were, that you're already doing. Hey, what would I do if nobody was watching? Oh, I'm doing that already. Oh, yeah. And I'm kind of motivated to do that again today. Okay, so it's getting to know yourself better, asking some of these deep questions and sitting with them. Okay, the next one is, and journaling them is always a good idea as well. Okay, just writing them down. Okay? Now, the next one is prioritizing your needs last. Okay, so that's a big energy block right there. And we touched on it a little bit before with the people pleaser part, putting everybody else first, prioritizing, just literally not putting even your eating needs before somebody else. Okay. And I'm not talking like if you have a small child, of course, a small child, we have to move on. But how they say, when you're in an airplane, you put your mask on first, then you put on the child's, okay, or the other person that you're taking care of. Or you can't help anybody from an empty cup. You have to fill your cup first. Okay. So this self care is absolutely imperative to do. So putting yourself first is, here's some more questions that are going to come up, um, today here that you can ponder, where it comes, like, the worth of yourself, self care, self love. And the first question is, what accomplishments are you most proud of? Okay. What accomplishments? Anything that make you feel proud of yourself. And then also think about the people, places, things, events around that accomplishment that helped you achieve that milestone. Okay. And so by acknowledging others that may have assisted you in creating that accomplishment for yourself, giving gratitude to them is always a good thing too. Okay. The reason why we want to notice like what we've done, and realize that we're worthy of love and worthy of peace and worthy of spending time taking care of ourselves. It's not just about accomplishments, but it's like giving ourselves credit for how far we've come. Now, many of us have had tremendous amounts of trauma in our lifetime, and yet we're here today. We belong to the My Health Angel community. We're learning every day from all these wonderful events that they put together for us, right? We learn something new every day and we put it into action because we're worthy of it and we're realizing that. And so we have to allow, that's an accomplishment right there. That's allowing yourself to acknowledge how far you've come. Okay, how far you come in growing and growing your soul and growing into your heart and doing your heart's desire. Okay, so it's so important. And if we don't, if we ignore ourselves long enough, then those emotions that we're like keeping kind of under, like I'll give you an example. Resentment can come up from putting yourself last. Resentment's a biggie, man. That can create some serious chronic illnesses over a period of time. Resentment. So we have to really understand that it's not selfish to put ourselves first at all, and it's imperative that we do. There is always areas for compromise, of course. That goes without saying. However, healthy boundaries and putting things in perspective where we're getting what we need to feed our soul as well as everyone around us, okay, that we're helping. All right. Now, so caring for yourself is determining what makes you happy and doing. Okay. Oh, and here I had written a note saying, get comfortable with saying, I desire blank. Okay. I desire it and I deserve it. So you're bringing that into your energy. So another thing that's really important when we're um, stepping into ourself and taking care of ourselves is to communicate our needs outward. Okay. Excuse me, I needed water. um, so communicate your needs outwardly. You can do this in a very loving way by simply stating, this is what I feel I need this time and I'm do it. Okay. There's nothing wrong with stating what it is that you need. Okay. Now, the person receiving that information may say, no, I'm not going to support you on that. Okay. So then you get to make a choice on whether that person's going to be involved in assisting you with that goal, which sounds like that person may not be interested in doing that. So you will gain support from others to help you achieve that goal. Okay. And leave that person over here to do their thing. Okay. Um, that's where the compromise part would come in. It's like, okay, so you're not going to support me in doing this goal, so I'm going to get support elsewhere, elsewise, and you have good time. Okay. So compromise is always possible, but it doesn't mean that you have to be shut down because somebody else shuts you down. Okay, because that's then giving your power to the other person, and that's where the resentment gets built up and the frustration because I really wanted to do this project and the anger and all that stuff gets built up in your body, not the other person's. Okay. I know some of you have heard the saying, anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The other person has no idea, obviously doesn't care that you about this project, but you're holding it right here, or right here, or right here, okay, or right here. And so it's really important that you put up those healthy boundaries. And if somebody's not interested, fine, let it go. Don't take it personally. They're just not interested and move on and get your support in another area. Okay. It's really that simple to do. And yet people make it really difficult because we don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to, rock the boat or anything like that. By not rocking the boat, you're virtually harming yourself. Okay. So, and I say rocking the boat in a way that is open, honest communication. And if we don't have those abilities to be open and honest and have loving interaction, well, that's when your therapist comes in and helps you to learn how to communicate in that way so that we're not creating a bigger bee's nest than what we had in the first place. Okay. So you want to just make sure that you approach in a loving way from your heart space. This is what I really want to do. It's gonna, I'm so passionate about it and I'm gonna do it. Okay. And that's how it starts. Okay. And then we get the support that we need and we move forward. Another thing that you can do is say no more often. Okay, so let's say a friend says, "Oh, let's go play bridge tonight," and you're really not feeling it. You just, I'm not feeling it. So thank you so much for the invitation. I'm going to stay back tonight and take it. Okay. Or thank you so much. I'm going to remain at home. You don't actually have to tell anybody what it is you're doing. You can just say, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm just going to decline tonight. Okay. Saying no more often. So many of us are yes people. Yes, yes, I'll do anything. And then we end up draining all our energy and we don't have anything left for ourselves. Okay. That's creates energy blocks because it creates resentment down the road, anger, feeling unvalidated because you feel like people are taking advantage of you. So all that creates stuff in our energy field that we don't want to carry that stuff around. It's not good for us. Asking for help, again, asking for help, asking for that support for that project, asking for assistance from a therapist or counselor. Um, I have found that people such as myself that are very good at giving advice, are healers intuitively, or intuitive healers, and work with energy, are in the medical field. We need therapy too. Even people that are healers need healers. Okay, and I can say that openly and honestly. So if you resonate as a healer, if you give advice to people, if you're a people pleaser, if you open yourself up and your energy gets drained, then having somebody that you can talk to is really important. Okay, and if you're not a person that does that on the regular and such like that, then you know that the people that are giving you that information, the therapists out there too, they are also giving assistance. Okay. So it's healthy for us to all get assistance. Okay. The next one is connect with yourself. So that's through your breath work, through yoga, they have chair yoga, and I think that's fabulous. And I know I think it's Evelyn or Evie does yoga here on My Health Angel. You can join in there, moving your body, doing some dance, and again, shaking it up a little bit is great for moving energy blocks out. Okay. Guided meditations, you can get those on YouTube or Insight Timer on your phone. It's a free app that you can download. So just listening and connecting with yourself, it's fabulous. Okay. So that's some ways that you can put yourself. Okay. Now, the next one is allowing other people's energy to become your own. Okay. So, how many times have you walked into a party and you can feel tension? Like you could cut it with a knife. Okay. You get that's energy that you don't want. Okay. But we all feel it. It's just sometimes we don't feel it because it's very subtle, but sometimes we feel it because it's very strong. Okay, but you do feel it. You could be in let's say you walk into a CVS, okay, and you're in a perfectly good mood, and somebody walks by you, and all of a sudden you're feeling angry. Okay, you don't know why you're feeling angry, but you do. And then you walk out of CVS feeling angry. Now, this is awareness is super important in these areas when you're starting to work with um, this type of releasing of the energy block a lot because you're not wanting to absorb other people's energy. And yet we do because we're all energy beings and we feel everything that's going on, whether we know it or not. Okay. Like I said, it could be subtle or it could be in your face. Wow, that you could cut the tension with a knife in here. Okay. Sometimes when people are out at large events, and I know this for myself, I get very anxious and I like that, okay? Because there's just so much energy around, and I don't want to absorb any of it. I just want to listen to the music, okay? So there are different techniques that you can use for shielding your energy and taking good care of yourself. And that also starts with healthy boundaries as well. So if you walk into a party and you can cut it with a knife, if you're not comfortable, then it's time to excuse yourself from the party. You don't sit there in that that tension the whole night and feel yourself start to tense up because it's going into your body and it's going to make you not feel good. Okay. Drain your energy and you leave feeling like somebody kicked you in the head. Like what? What just happened there? Okay. So the first thing you can do in this instance, well, not in that particular instance, but in order to protect your energy, is to be aware of how you feel. So when you're alone, check in with yourself. How do I feel? I feel pretty comfortable. Um, okay, so if you're watching a show on TV and all of a sudden you don't feel comfortable, acknowledge what it is you're watching, okay? And say, okay, this is making my physical body not feel comfortable. I feel it in my stomach. I feel it in I feel it in my chest. I feel it, but that right? That's when you want to turn the TV off and then start doing that breath work and releasing that energy down into the earth. You don't want it to get trapped into your system. Okay. And that goes with the same, like if you're at a party and you leave the party and you feel like garbage, then you can do that process as well. Or dance, take a walk, do breath work, I need to do the rattle. I'm rattling this stuff right out of here. I burn sage oftentimes to like release anyone else's energy that might have come into my area. And Palo Santo is another great option for you. Certain crystals, this one here is shungite, and I wear this. This is a very protective crystal, so I don't absorb other people's energy, as well as electromagnetic fields that come off of the phones or the computers and the like. Okay, so I protect myself and my body in various different ways from toxins in the environment. Okay, so become aware of how you feel. And then when you go out, okay, start becoming aware of how you feel when you're around certain people, because certain people in your life may bring your energy down. Like, oh gosh, whenever I'm with her, when I leave, I feel like I have to take a nap. Okay, so what are you going to do about that? You're going to continue having that type of interaction with that person, or are you going to put up a healthy boundary for yourself, shield your energy, protect yourself, visualize yourself in a white light, or limit the amount of time that you spend with the person. Okay, which is this is shungite. Shungite. Black tourmaline's always a good one too. That's a great crystal for deflecting negative energy. So thank you for asking. So so anyway, limiting, doing what's in your highest good. Maybe text them instead of being face to face with them, or talk to them over the phone, okay, or over Zoom. So we want to protect our energy as best as we can. Another way that we can protect our energy is to do that grounding exercise where you're visualizing roots like that of a tree going down into the earth and doing the breath work. Okay. This, when we're grounded, we have the ability to handle a little bit more of what energy is going flying around us all the time. When we're grounded, when we're feeling stable, and we feel protected and connected to the earth. So if you can get out and connect with nature, that's always a great way to move energy out of your body that's not really in its highest good to be there. So let's try this one more time. If everybody can get comfortable, we're going to come back to our body. We're just going to do this for a minute because we need to open up. And we're going to take a breath in, so you can close your eyes, relax your shoulders, take a breath in, and then just send that breath and anything that doesn't serve you right down your body, right down out your feet into the earth, down those roots. Okay. And you would repeat this about 10 times or so, or till whenever you feel like you're back to feeling grounded after being around some energy that's not really feeling too good. Okay. You can also shift your thoughts by saying, I am safe. I am safe to experience everything. You could say something, I shield myself in light. Okay. you can also flip the script with somebody that is maybe being negative, and you can ask them, so was there something positive that came out of the conversation that you're talking about right now? So flip it around a little bit and bring them back to, hey, did you have some positive? What's the positive that came out of that experience for you? What's the silver line? There has to be silver, okay? Or as I mentioned before, limit your exposure with the person. And then the last thing, because we need to move on, is becoming your diagnosis. So you are not your pain, you are not your illness. It does not define who you are. One way that you can really, really help yourself is if you have some chronic pain or you've had surgery and you're working on healing it, to heal yourself quicker is to get curious and do some research. Okay, how can I heal this quicker? How can I release this energy? Okay, become your own healthcare advocate. You may love your doctors and be like, yes, everything's going great. Okay, still there's different techniques out there, such as some of the ones we've talked about today, that are really going to be very helpful. So you know, allow yourself to do the research. Okay, when we put all our eggs in one basket and allow our doctors to tell us what to do, even though it is our body, then we're disempowering ourselves. Okay, take your power and say, ask questions to the doctor about prescriptions, about alternatives. If you want to try something alternative, do you know of something I can take that's not going to have these side effects? So an alternative medication or something along that line. So ask questions. Okay, don't give everybody your power. Ask questions, get curious. Okay, that really helps release energy blocks, because when we have doubt, that's a biggie. Fear, that's a biggie. Okay, we don't want to have that. So ask the questions, communicate, open up, and speak. Okay, so that is, I'm going to open it up now. These exercises can help you identify those emotions, identify the pain in the body, and help yourself release it on through protecting and yourself and putting up healthy boundaries and taking care of you. Okay, so that's it. I know we got 10 minutes left, so kind of cut it short there a little bit, but that's what we've got.
Yeah, no, that was great. I
Oh,
know.
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Nicole.
Go ahead.
Before,
No, you
before
go.
yeah, before I pulled a card at the beginning. So what is the card that asking the angels, what's the best message that is for the highest good of everyone attending today? And it says, schooling, study, and education help your life purpose and personal growth at this time. The angels will guide you and help you with this process. So I just got through saying, be your own healthcare advocate, ask questions, tell people what you want, communicate, and do your research. Okay, if you want to do, if you have a goal in mind, then find out more about it and how you can achieve that goal. If you have a physical symptom or an emotional or mental symptom, then do the research. Find the different techniques. What ones do you resonate with? Talk them over with your doctor. Okay, so wonderful card, and you'll get a copy of that as well in the email.
Yes.
Okay, now.
So there were just a few comments in here, and then if anybody has any comments or questions for Diana and wants to raise their hand and speak, just please feel free. So yeah, I saw that, let's see, Pamela actually resonated a lot with her when you were doing that first exercise, really releasing sadness and then next sweetness for herself. So that was really beautiful. And then Eva mentioned that she went to an art class last night. She in an enclosed room, nobody would wear a mask, and it had really bad energy, and she walked out. And I could just see Eva walking out and being like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm gonna go have a piece of chocolate. I'm gonna She's laughing because she knows exactly right. And that probably made you feel real good, right? So yeah, no, I totally, if you want to unmute Eva and add anything to that, but I totally that you feel that energy. It's thick, it's heavy in the room, and right.
Yeah, I saw the woman that was signing us all in. It was the first class, and I just looked around the teacher said, does anybody mind if I don't wear a mask? I said, I mind. I'm right in front of you and I would prefer if you wear a mask. She goes, well, okay. And she puts it on. And then I looked around, the girl sat next to me. I said, would you please put on a mask? You're like 2 feet away from me. So
Mhm.
she says, no, I won't. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to punch this girl in the nose because I don't do that. But, I noticed that all around the room, people like throwing daggers at me with their
Yeah.
eyes and their energy. And I was like, where's the exit?
Right.
Exit stage left.
Right,
I was
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole class costs $10. It's for $10 for 8 sessions.
Yeah.
It's negligible. But, I'm going to say something to the staff today and say, I had to leave the class because I said, I even explained that the virus that's out now, the variant, is much more transmissible than the original virus because
Mm.
people are saying, oh, I got vaccinated. I said, that's not the point. You can still be a carrier and you can still carry the new variant. I said,
Right.
so we have to all protect ourselves. They didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, you got to do you, whatever stay in your lane, and people, they're always going to have, everybody has all these opinions, but
Exactly.
you got to do you, and no one knows people's underlying conditions, people's issue, other things that can affect them deeper than someone else. So you
And
just have to do you.
I
Yeah.
find that as I get older, I'm 71 now, I feel like I am so opening up to speaking my truth
Mm.
because
Yeah.
before I was like very mousy, I didn't say what was on my mind. But now it's like, I just
What?
say what was on my mind. Yeah, it's like I opened up a whole new world after, being 70,
Right, there you go.
But thank you everybody for listening,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no,
Thank
that,
you.
and Diana, thank you. I always think you're incredible. You know that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ita.
Welcome.
there also, there was what was the crystal you're wearing, what is it, tourmaline?
So black tourmaline is one that you can use also for deflecting negative energy. And I say negative energy as in any heavy energy, anything
Mhm.
that doesn't feel good. Okay. So it doesn't even have to be like negative energy. It's just energy that you don't like. Okay. This is shungite, Shungite. And it also deflects the electromagnetic fields that we are getting off of those 5G towers, off of our computers. So like if you're a computer person and you find yourself at your computer all day and when you get up, you feel drained, it's because your energy has literally been drained. Okay. We're exposed to electromagnetic fields throughout the day. But when we're right face to face all the time, a shungite crystal will help deflect that out. Okay. It'll deflect it out and you'll find, and this is, I mean, they've done studies on this. Okay. You'll find that when you get done with your work, you'll get up and you'll say, maybe I'll go for a walk. Like you'll have some of that energy still, okay, from the day. So just notice it. If you get a shungite, just notice, be aware of how you're feeling without it and with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pamela asked if, is deep breathing and excusing yourself for tea or to the bathroom the best at a toxic workplace when you are absorbing the bad energy daily? Any suggestions on that?
Right. So I would wear a black tourmaline crystal. I recommend that to just about everybody that's working in a toxic workplace. Okay. It really, and the reason why, like, even if you're not really into crystals, then you can still get a black tourmaline. You don't have to wear it around your neck. You can pop it in your pocket, or if you're a female and have a bra, you can pop it in there, right? When you realize that you are not, like, the day that you leave it at home on your nightstand is the day you're going to realize, oh, it really does work. Okay. Because it does deflect people that are more toxic away from you. Okay. And I'm not even kidding about this. That's one thing. But you're exactly right. Breathing, excusing yourself, going outside and sending that energy down into the earth, or even going into the break room and just doing some breath to get that out of your energy field is an awesome way to do it. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And also, Gwen had said the session was so valuable to me. Thank you so much. Exercises and information sealing my energy. I appreciate it. And then also Rose felt the same way with the first breathing exercises and now she needs to go a little further. And then also, what about Jade and Opal? Rose was asking about those two crystals.
Jade and opal.
Yeah.
So all crystals have beautiful healing properties. So if you're guided to jade, if you're guided to opal, and it feels good when you're wearing it, then it's doing its work. Okay, it's doing what it needs to do. So if you go out, let's say you go out online, you say, I want to get a crystal or something like that. Whatever you're attracted to is the one that you should get. Okay, that's it, hands down. The first thing that comes to mind, that's the one.
Yeah. And the crystals can be, yeah. And then they were asking where they can find the crystals, and we can add that in the recap. We'll put a link. There's a ton of places. We'll Google a few and put a few links in there that sell crystals, because there's usually crystal shops somewhere nearby. And if not, you could always order them online. Etsy, a lot of places have them.
Yes,
So-
yes. Crystal River Gems is a place where you can get crystals, and then locally, they call at local to Boca, my
Yes.
floral crystal garden.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I've been to a crystal shop up here. Oh yes, no, there is one up here in Concord. It's called Enchanted Kitchen. So they're around. I mean, wherever you are in the world, I'm pretty sure you can get yourself a crystal shop, and they're so fun to walk around in, and the vibe is high.